On the spin, fires for the win! Got it!
The 30, the 20,
If he scores, it's over.
It's insane. One of the greatest postseason performers ever.
Here's Carroll. He's got it. And the Arizona Diamondbacks are headed to the World Series.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the AZ Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphreys, joining you live as I do every Monday and Thursday. And it was a great weekend to be an Arizona sports fan. Sometimes you can say that, sometimes, and definitely oftentimes recently. It's been a hard time to be an Arizona sports fan, a fan of Arizona sports. But this weekend was incredible. And it comes down to the Phoenix Suns Summer League and the Los Angeles and the Arizona Diamondbacks sweeping the Los Angeles Dodgers. And let's just jump right in, right? I got my papers, I got my two sheets today. So you know we have a lot to talk about. But this podcast is going to be focused primarily on the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Phoenix Suns Summer League. So let's get into it. The Arizona Diamondbacks swept the Los Angeles Dodgers for the first time since the 2023 postseason run, and the first time in the regular season since 2017, back in the early days of Torey Lovullo. It was great to see this team show up in a big way in Los Angeles after splitting a series against the Padres that really felt like they needed to get 3 or 4 of those, or all 4 of those games. It was an absolute gut punch. It's announced that Zach Gallen's going on to the IL. Pavin Smith was finally DFA'd. He just was never able to turn around his hitting. The Diamondbacks just took off. They took off in Los Angeles. On Friday, they won 9-2. On Saturday, they won 9-3. And then on Sunday, they won 5-3. So, first thing we have to focus on is the Diamondbacks hitting. And it was Tim Tawa who absolutely carried this offense over the 3 games against Los Angeles. He was 7 for 13, which is a .538 batting average, had 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a stolen base, and played really good defense at first base. He was incredible. And what doesn't get included in that is that he also hit a 400 something foot hard hit fly ball to deep center field that Andy Paes was unable to catch, that resulted in an error, but I believe knocked in at least one run yesterday in the Sunday match. So just he was doing everything with his bat in Thursday's game. Before the big home run, he had a fly ball, his first at bat, that took the right fielder all the way back to the warning track. And so Tim Tawa was just hitting the ball extremely hard in Dodgers ballpark. It was very reminiscent of a previous Diamondbacks first baseman that dominated in Los Angeles. Big right-handed hitting first baseman, guy by the name of Christian Walker. You might have heard of him. Tim Tawa literally just stepped into the shoes of Christian Walker against the Dodgers and went ballistic. And the Diamondbacks need production at first base. They need it. And Tim Tawa is a guy who plays great defense pretty much at all. I think he's played all 7 infield positions or all 7 defensive positions for the Diamondbacks, not catcher and pitcher. But honestly, if he wants to try pitching, let him give it a shot. And if he wants to be a catcher, let him give it a shot. But Tim is a guy who has bounced up and down the last couple seasons between Reno and the major league roster. He started his major league career blistering hot as well, had over 1,000 OPS for the first few weeks of his career. But since then, teams have figured out that he just struggles with breaking balls, and he hasn't been able to hit consistently at the major league level. Recently, they sent him back down to Reno for a month, and he was just absolutely crushing the baseball. And it's good to see that he came up to the major league level and just continue to crush baseballs. If he can be the everyday or close to everyday answer at first base for the Diamondbacks, that is going to be a huge, huge boost to their playoff chances and their ability to make a run in the second half of the season. And hopefully, and unfortunately for Tim Tawa, uh, this his run is interrupted by the All-Star break. If you're Tim Tawa, you just want to keep playing baseball every day until your luck runs out, and hopefully he can just pick up right where he left off and continue to hammer the baseball when the season resumes on, I believe it's Friday, maybe it might be Saturday, but on Friday when the season resumes, hopefully what Tim Tawa can continue to go out there and crush the baseball at the bottom of the order. And and speaking of the bottom of the order, it was also the bottom of the order that carried this Diamondbacks team to victory in all three games. In this series, and this is shocking, Marte Perdomo and Corbin Carroll combined for 2 hits between the top three hitters in the Diamondbacks lineup. Although we should say that Gabriel Moreno is and has been the Diamondbacks' best hitter for almost a month and a half, really. But the top three guys in the lineup combined for 2 hits. Carroll is going on, he's like 4 for 45 or 4 for 40 something in his last 45 at bats. He's really, really plummeted. And we're seeing kind of the same book that was used on him a couple years ago in 2024. Guys are throwing the high fastball and he's swinging at it, he's swinging through it, or he's popping it up. And he just hasn't been able to fight off and get enough hits against that pitch. And so teams are just gonna keep throwing it until he proves that he can hit it. So hopefully this break and going to the All-Star game can help Corbin kind of reset, get back to being the player he was for the first 3 months of the season in March, April, and May. And then he can just kind of put June and the first part of July in the rearview mirror and get going back to being 900 OPS Corbin Carroll. Um, yeah, hopefully he can turn it around. But the story from this series and what should give us as Diamondbacks fans hope for the second half of the season is that the bottom half of the lineup finally started to figure it out. We saw Nolan Arenado come in and have a really good series. We saw James McCann have a 2 home run game. Are you kidding me? James McCann, fresh off the IL, had a 3 run home run in, I believe it was game 2 of the Diamondbacks series. And he just absolutely murdered the baseball against the Dodgers. We saw we saw unfortunately we saw Tommy Troy and Ryan Waldschmidt both play for the Diamondbacks, but both left games due to injury. Ryan Waldschmidt got hit in the hand trying to bunt, and Tommy Troy collided with the wall in the outfield making a catch. Tommy Troy's getting an MRI today. Maybe the news drops while we're recording live. Maybe it won't. I will keep Twitter up and just keep checking that. But those two guys did well defensively, didn't impact the game offensively in a major way. Gabriel Moreno continues to be the Diamondbacks' first or second best player this season. He has been absolutely incredible. Corbin has a 3.1 WAR, Gabby has a 3.0 WAR this season. So uh, Gabby has just been incredible. He's gotten on base 31 games in a row. He's sending balls through Gabby Lane all the time. He's as hot of a hitter and as consistent of a hitter as the Diamondbacks have seen. Honestly, if he hadn't been hurt for the first for like that month stretch in April and May, he'd probably, and deservedly so, would be an all-star. Unfortunately, the injuries, and that's the story with Gabby, is if he's playing, he's awesome, but he's very injury prone. So hopefully for Gabby, he can stay healthy for the rest of the season and continue to hit the baseball the way he has. His average has jumped from like 202 to 304 in the span of, it feels like, a month. And he's been the Diamondbacks best player for the last month, and he hasn't even had off days either. He's been so important for this Diamondbacks team that when he's not catching, he's DHing, because that's how good he's been this entire season. So offensively, those were the main guys that dominate against the Dodgers. And let's be honest, like, the Dodgers did not help themselves either. They committed multiple errors in every single game, whether that was wild pitches, allowing runners to score, whether that was uh, Diamondbacks stealing second and then the throw getting into the outfield and Diamondbacks runners advancing to third. We saw multiple Dodgers infielders airmail throws. We saw, like we said, uh, Pages drop a fly ball. It would have been a difficult catch, but we saw Pages get an error dropping a fly ball on a Tawa hit on Sunday. So the Dodgers definitely did not help themselves, and uh definitely spotted the Diamondbacks a few runs in every game, but the Diamondbacks pitching was so good that even without those errors, the Diamondbacks still could have easily won all three games in this series. We saw Erod go 6 innings and 2 earned runs on Friday. We saw Brandon Pfaadt go, I believe it was 5 1/3 and gave up 2 runs on Saturday. And then Mitch Bratt gave up 3 runs in 3 innings. And there was if you watch the game, it was pretty funny. The bullpen phone wasn't working, and so Tori was trying to Tori was trying to get in contact with anyone down in the bullpen to get guys warming up to get Mitch Bratt out of the game. But Mitch Bratt went 3 innings, gave up 3 runs, and then the Diamondbacks bullpen held it down this series as well. They pitched in 6 innings yesterday, didn't give up a run. I think they gave up maybe a hit, maybe a walk, but it was just an absolutely dominant performance against the Dodgers. They gave up the bullpen gave up 1 run this entire series, and it was when they were up 9-2 on Friday. Dre Jameson gave up a run. So Diamondbacks were incredible in the bullpen. We saw Brandon Garcia come in multiple times with traffic on the bases and get out of innings. He's become maybe the Diamondbacks' best reliever that no one's talking about. Obviously, there's the guys that we know. Ryan Thompson was brilliant yesterday. Kevin Ginkel has been good for the Diamondbacks all season long. We've seen Juan Murillo have great outings and continue to do so. Paul Sewald recorded a save yesterday, and that was great. We saw Joey Lasagna uh, have a incredible strikeout against Shohei Ohtani yesterday. Um, Ohtani did have 2 runs this series. It wasn't like the Diamondbacks got a bad Ohtani, although he did not pitch on Friday because of some knee soreness that's going to keep him out of the All-Star game. But Otani hit 2 home runs. I believe he had 2 doubles as well in the series. So uh, the Diamondbacks did not get a bad Shohei Otani series. That's not the reason why they won this series. They were just better against everyone else besides Otani, which was really impressive. And let's get into Brandon Font more. So Brandon Font has pitched through 5 innings in every single start since coming back from Reno. He's still on a pitch count. I don't think he's made it to 80 pitches yet. He probably would have yesterday if the wheels hadn't started to come off uh in that in that top of the 6th inning, or excuse me, bottom of the 6th inning, where he allowed two runs to score. But or that wasn't yesterday, that was Saturday. Excuse me. On Saturday, he probably would have gotten to 80 pitches had the Dodgers not started to hit him pretty hard in that 6th inning. So, but since coming back, he's only allowed 2 runs in over 15 innings pitched. He's been lights out. He's been throwing strikes and hasn't been throwing balls. Uh, Yesterday or Saturday's game, he threw 77 pitches, and I believe 52 of them were strikes. Same thing, same thing, in his recent outing against the Padres, where he threw 70 something pitches and threw 50 strikes. He looks like the revamped 2024 version of himself, who was the Diamondbacks' best pitcher in 2024 for most of the season. We always forget that how bad the starting pitching was. Brandon Font was the only guy that season that managed to get through 6, 7 innings and give that bullpen a break. That bullpen was uh so used up. And then Brandon Fott was the guy every 5th day. He was going 6, 7 innings and giving the bullpen a break in 2024. 2025 was a struggle for him. 26 was a struggle for him until recently, but he's been absolutely dominant. It appears the mechanical changes he's made, uh, going away from the over the head pitch to just bringing the ball right up to his chest, has really helped him. He's been able to find better movement on his pitches as well. The curveball is looking better. His sweeper hasn't gotten to that 2023 level of side to side movement, but it does look good. His cutter's very effective. He's locating his fastball, which has been really good. Nothing over the middle of the plate, which has been really positive sign to see. Brandon Fott is a guy where if the Diamondbacks do make a run in the second half of the season, he's going to be a big reason why, because Gallen's out, Soroka's been out, and Ryan Nelson's out. So Erod and Merrill Kelly are just the 2 guys left in the rotation. So Fott is going to have to step up and be a really good second or third guy behind Erod. Hopefully Soroka can get back quickly and get back into the rotation. Maybe Corbin Burns comes back. Maybe Zach Gallen comes back. Zach Gallen's only on the 15-day IL, but with an elbow, I kind of just expect it to turn into a 30 game absence of 45, or 30-day absence, a 45-day absence, maybe even is on the 60-day IL at some point. Uh Hopefully those guys can come back, and then hopefully we get to see AJ Putt come back soon. Justin Martinez should hopefully start throwing soon. He's projected to come back in August, which is only like half a month away. Like we're only 17, 18 days away from August. We're 3-ish weeks away from that trade deadline that is so important for Major League Baseball and this Diamondbacks team. Uh, the pitching, the starting pitching, they need Brandon Pfaadt to be awesome every single time he takes the mound. They're going to need Jose Cabrera and Mitch Bratt to not get absolutely diced. And if this Diamondbacks offense has a resurgence and can come back to life, then this Diamondbacks team has a chance to go on a run. So that's kind of the brief outlook from this Diamondbacks team uh, after the Dodgers series. Now, it is a halfway point. We don't have any baseball except for the All Star game Tuesday night. So, here are some of the main things that I've seen from this Diamondbacks team through the first half of the season. Let's just kind of like put out the report card right now. They're 49 and 47. They're 2.5 games back of the wild card. Currently on a 4 game win streak, heading into the break. They're a bottom five offense in just about every category, and no star on this team has been consistent the entire season. We've seen Ketel Marte really struggle at the beginning of the season. We saw Gabriel Moreno struggle at the beginning of the season, and we saw Geraldo Perdomo struggle at the beginning of the season. We already talked about Corbin Carroll's current struggles, and we've talked about how bad the bottom half of the lineup has been. And no one's really been able to do anything outside of Vargas and Arenado's hot stretches. Vargas was really hot in April. Arenado got really hot in May. Tim Tao is currently on a hot stretch. Max Kepler, who the Diamondbacks signed a couple weeks ago, is starting to wake up as a Diamondbacks left-handed bat, which has been good to see. But if you're talking OPS, if you're talking batting average, walks, you're talking slugging, the Diamondbacks are between 23 and 26 in all of those categories. So not great. They are 19th in runs scored, which is not bad. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is that they can have a really good second half offensively, and not that I don't think this team is going to be a top 10 offense the second half. But if they can just get to like 15, like just be an average MLB offense, and then they can continue to get really solid pitching from the starting pitching and the bullpen. This is a team that can absolutely do some damage before the trade deadline and pick up some pieces. So uh the offense has done really bad. The pitching ERA is exactly average. So combined pitching ERA, Diamondbacks are 4.2 or 4.21 ERA, which is the exact middle of Major League Baseball. The Diamondbacks are 15th, and average MLB ERA this season is 4.21. So they've been exactly average in the earned run average. And part of what's helped that is that they have a top five defense in nearly every fielding category. They lead the league in fewest errors this season at 35. They're in a three-way tie with the Dodgers and funny enough, the Padres. So despite all the errors we saw against the Dodgers over the weekend, they really haven't been that bad except against the Diamondbacks, which is pretty crazy. The starting pitching ERA is at a 4.39, and the relief pitching ERA is at a 4.00. That's 14th. Starting pitching ERA is 18th or 19th. And yeah, the so overall the defense has been solid, not great, not anything special, but solid. Uh, because the pitching has needed the defense to bail them out in a lot of situations. But still positive signs overall. Hopefully, this second half we can see that starting pitching kind of get improve a little bit, and then with Puck and Martinez coming back, hopefully that relief pitching ERA can drop even more. But overall, the pitching and defense has been what the Diamondbacks have needed. If they had just gotten a league average offense this year and been able to win some of these close games, they'd probably be right where the Marlins are at right now, which is 7 games above 500. So overall, I feel like the Diamondbacks deserve a probably a B minus for where they're at right now this season. C is a little too harsh, especially because uh of what the Diamondbacks did their last 4 games, which is beating the Padres and then sweeping the Diamondbacks. If they hadn't swept the Dodgers, they would definitely be a it would definitely be like a C kind of season. And injuries come into play with every single team, but the Diamondbacks have gotten an unfortunate stroke of injury luck in the pitching rotation specifically, and I feel like they could have an even better record if Soroka had stayed healthy. If if Brandon Fott hadn't been so up and down. If Ryan Nelson, who appeared to have kind of figured it out, if he had been able to stay healthy and didn't go to the IL, if Merrill Kelly had uh not been hurt at the beginning of the season, Merrill probably might be in a better spot if he had gotten a full string spring training to figure everything out and kind of hone in on his accuracy. Obviously, Corbin Burns' injury just looms over this franchise as well. Plus, he should be, according to the timetable Burns set at the beginning of the season, he should be pitching right now, but unfortunately, uh, he strained a muscle in his back shoulder area and will not pitch for the Diamondbacks until probably the end of August. If they're in the race, I expect Burns to be back, but if the Diamondbacks come out and they don't do very well after the All-Star break, which is definitely a possibility, unfortunately, as much as I don't want to admit it, this Diamondbacks team definitely could go south after the All-Star break. And if that's the case and they sell at the deadline, I think Burns probably doesn't pitch this season. Uh, Diamondbacks, what's really hurt the Diamondbacks this season is that they traded away Jake McCarthy and Blaze Alexander, two guys that could have definitely helped out this offense. Both those guys talked about it on every podcast. I think both those guys are hitting 300 for the Orioles and the Rockies, and it's just been really frustrating to see those guys produce and how bad this Diamondbacks offense has been. Um, and they decided that Pavin Smith and um they decided that Pavin Smith and Adrian Del Castillo and the young guys that they had in the organization were going to be good enough to provide a consistent, deep offensive lineup, but that just hasn't been the case. And yeah, it just has been bad. But the good news is that the Diamondbacks. So here's the bad news. Here's the bad news, right? The Diamondbacks are last, and this is positional war on Baseball Reference. The Diamondbacks have the last WAR at first base, at left field, and they have the third worst WAR at DH this season. So you look at that and say, man, the Diamondbacks are still 47 or still 49 and 47, despite having three of the worst WAR position categories in baseball. The bad news is that Mike Hazen allowed this to happen and built a roster that didn't have a good first baseman, that didn't have a good left fielder because Lourdes, I don't know if rushing him back from injury or the second injury or what's been happening in left field. Max Kepler definitely hasn't been great offensively or defensively so far for the Diamondbacks since they signed him, and he's been in left field a lot. Like the Diamondbacks need production in left field as well, but they're last in WAR at first base and in left field, and uh, they're also they're third worst in WAR at the DH position. So three really big holes that have been just holding the Diamondbacks back from being like a really good baseball team during the first half of the season. That's the bad news. The good news is that it's there's no question marks about, hey, what do the Diamondbacks need to fix? No, the Diamondbacks know what they need to fix, and it's first base, it's left field, and it's a DH. Now, that's a tall task, but if the Diamondbacks can figure out two of those options, and maybe Tim Tawa is the answer at first base, he's probably going to have like a 2 week stretch of playing first base every day to for the organization to really like say, hey, like if are you the everyday first baseman for the rest of the season? If Tim can go out for 2 weeks and prove that he is, then guess what? You only have to worry about left field and you only have to worry about left field and DH, which by the way, if you figure out first base and Tim Tao is playing well, like you can move Tim to left field too. Like he's a very, very good outfielder as well. And hopefully a guy like Tommy Troy uh, or Ryan Waldschmidt can do really well too. And that's another position that has held the Cardinals back too as center fielder. They just haven't been able to figure that out. Oh, I just remembered Jordan Lawler. If he's able to come back at some point, that's a good center field, left field option as well. So yeah, Jordan Lawler, one of the best Diamondbacks hitters when he's been in the lineup this season. If he can come back and stay healthy, that's another guy who can boost this offense as well. I mean, he played shortstop and second and third base. So is he a guy that's I don't know if he has any experience at first base, but could Jordan Lawler or Tim Tawa take over everyday first base? That's a possibility. I expect both of those guys to play a lot over the rest of the season, especially with the way that Tim Tawa was smoking baseballs in Reno. I think he's probably been the best hitter in Reno this season, and so it makes sense to just keep him up. And even if he only, I mean, he had such a bad start to the season that I think his OPS is only like in the 500s right now. But if he can get that to like 700 by the end of the season, that would be really, really big for this Diamondbacks ball club. So yeah, the good news is that uh, the Diamondbacks know where they need to know what they need to fix, and it's first base, left field, and DH. And with Jordan Lawler coming back, he can fill at least one or two of those voids. If Max Kepler continues to hit well from the left side of the plate, he definitely could fill one or two of those voids. Tim Tawa is trending in the right direction. Maybe there's another guy in Reno that's trending in the right direction as well. But there's also guys on the trade market that the Diamondbacks could easily go out and get. Hopefully, Luis Ariz is on the market and not too high of a price to pay. But if the Diamondbacks could bring him in, left-handed bat, can play in the infield, has been extremely good defensively at second base. Like that's a guy that could come in and take the Diamondbacks from a maybe they make it to the wild card, maybe they don't, to a team that can really do some damage and get into, be a top wild card team potentially at the very end of the season, even though they have a lot of ground to make up. All right, that's been 30 minutes on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and we have to get to the Phoenix Suns now. The Phoenix Suns summer league has been it's been fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. It's been fun to watch. They're 1-1 right now. They're they've had the offense has been not the most fun to watch, definitely, but the the play from excuse me. Let's just restart. No one's watching this anyway, right? So, all right. Let's do good for the YouTube. The Phoenix Suns off or Ugh. This is what's fun about doing it live. The Phoenix Suns offense. Nope. The Phoenix Suns Summer League. All right, we're going to try this one more time. Khaman Maluach and the rest of the young Suns core have been an absolute revelation over the course of the first two games of the Phoenix Suns Summer League. The Phoenix Suns Summer League won their first game 81-79 against the Portland Trailblazers and then lost their second game on Sunday, 81-75. But as we know with Summer League, the final score doesn't truly matter. The win and loss record doesn't truly matter. It's how well do your young players that hopefully are are franchise cornerstones for many years to come. How well do those guys look in Summer League? And Khaman Maluach has easily been the Suns' most exciting, um, most most talented, best player so far. What I didn't expect from this Phoenix Suns Summer League was how well Kaman Malach would shoot the three and that he would be the best 3-point shooter on the roster. He's been a great rebounder. He's finished strong at the rim. He's been aggressive. Um anytime he's been close to the basket, he's been trying to dunk the ball, which has been great. Um, he's done a really, really good job rebounding in his area, out of his area. He's been going up and getting contested rebounds, which has been really good to see. In his first game, he had 7 turnovers, but uh, that was definitely a point of emphasis for him. In the second game, was not turning the ball over, and he had 0 turnovers, which was really, really good. So he's definitely looked like a guy that deserves rotation minutes, probably 20 minutes a game so far through the course of summer league. I think for him, some people could argue, hey, he's he's proven himself. He doesn't need to play any more minutes at summer league. But honestly, he's just played so few basketball games in the NBA, in college, and then like we've talked about before, he's so raw. He's only been playing basketball for 5 or 6 years. So he just needs as many reps in NBA environments as possible. So I expect him to play out the rest of the summer league and to continue to look really good. Uh, sh- his shot blocking at the rim has been really good. I saw a stat on Twitter that said opponents are shooting 12% worse than their expected field goal percentage when he is the primary defender or the primary shot blocker. And that's something you really want to see from him is because he is so long and talented that defensively is how he's going to make his bones in the NBA. It's not going to be being a fluid, high scoring big like Joel Embiid. It's going to be being a long, athletic rebounder, shot blocker, Rudy Gobert archetype. But what we've seen from Kaman Malawach in summer league is that he's developed. He's I wouldn't say he's developed, but he is developing a r- a good 3-point shot. The stroke looks solid for a big guy. He has a good amount of touch on it. Even the ones that he misses are right on line. He's only had one air ball, which was a rushed three at the end of the game, which is more passable just because of the time and score and situation. But when he's able to just catch and step into threes, it looks good. It looks really solid. And if he's able to become a 35, 36, 37% three-point shooter in his career, he might not make all NBA teams at center, but is going to be a top he's going to be thought of as a top center in the NBA. Now there's still definitely a lot of weaknesses and a lot of places where how raw he is shows. Um as a guy away from the basket, you know, making passes to cutters, to guys coming off handoffs, like he still just doesn't quite have the feel for that yet, which is really, really important for NBA offenses is having that center at the top of the key that can set good screens, which he is getting a lot better as a screen setter, but setting good screens, hitting guys exactly where they need to be, whether it's handoffs or cuts, out top. He's not really able to do that yet. He's not a connector at all. Um, and then defensively, there are a lot of times where the positioning still isn't great. He there there was a play where he there was an alley oop attempt from the Pelicans on Sunday where he probably didn't need to step up, but he did. And then he recovered and blocked the alley-oop dunk attempt at the rim, that was pretty incredible. Never should have happened, but there are plays like that where he's making mistakes, he's making up for some of them. He's been late to a couple block attempts that have been goaltended. I think there was one yesterday that was recorded as a block, but was 100% a goaltend. So he's still a little late, but overall, defensively, you've wanted to see him uh, really, really play well at that at the level. You've really wanted to see him play well at the summer league level, and he's definitely done that. Moving on to Rasheer Fleming, defensively, he's been superb, which is no surprise. Rasheer is going to be an NBA player for a long time because of how good and how athletic he is on defense. One thing that I love about Rasheer Fleming is his motor. He's always sprinting up and down the floor, a which is not always what you see in every NBA player, and we'll get to that in a second. He's really aggressive on defense. He's in passing lanes. He's trying to force steals. He had a great recovery yesterday where the Pelicans brought Maluach out and then threw a lob to a big guy inside where where Fleming was in the weak side corner, or maybe it was on the weak side wing. He flew in, deflected the ball out of bounds, and saved the Suns from or save the Suns defense from giving up an easy 2 points. Like, he just makes those plays time and time again, and it's why he should be in the rotation for the Suns next season, regardless of how good of an offensive player he is. But speaking of his offense, it's summer league. He's not in a position to for he's not in a position to really be like the Suns leading scorer in summer league. He needs a lot of help and a lot of good players around him to truly showcase what he can do on offense. But what I haven't liked from him in summer league is that he's only 1 of 8 from 3. He's probably had 8 more really good looks to shoot threes but hasn't taken them. And in the regular season, if you're not super confident in your shot and you just want to move the ball over to Jalen Green, Devin Booker, Dylan Brooks, not the worst idea in the world. But in summer league, you have to be confident and take those shots. I don't see a guy who looks super confident taking 3-point shots. That's what my eyes tell me. Other people will disagree with me, and that's okay. I have seen nothing from him in his career that makes me think he's going to be anything more than a Josh Okogie level shooter um in the corner. So I don't believe in the shot. I don't know. I hope the shot gets there. I don't believe that the shot is going to get there right now. I think he's going to be a low 30s, kind of similar to Ryan Dunn type of 3-point shooter. I definitely don't think defenses I definitely think defenses are not going to respect him in the NBA. I think you're going to see him get a lot of open looks from 3, whether he decides to take them or not. We're going to see this season. I think there are going to be a lot of teams that just say, "Hey, we're not really worried about you as a shooter," the same way they've done with Ryan Dunn, the same way they did with Josh Okogie or Torrey Craig. Like, if he can become the best shooter out of any of those guys that I listed, he's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars over a 12 to 15-year career if he can become a Trevor Ariza level kind of shooter. Like, he has a chance to be like an incredibly high paid, high value NBA player. But right now, I don't know if that shot ever materializes into anything other than like a 34% kind of shooter. And I really don't like his mindset. I wish he was confident shooting. I wish he was at least in summer league. In the During the NBA season, it could be different, but at least in summer league, I want him to be a lot more aggressive shooting. And we saw him hit a couple mid-range shots in the first game, which I mean was really positive to see. It's not something that I think he'll ever really be asked to do at the NBA level. Uh, Another thing that I don't really like is even though he's like the biggest player around the rim, sometimes he's a little timid and he's like trying to do these like finesse finishes around the rim. I wish he would, whether he makes it or misses it, I just want to there to be a different kind of aggression and confidence level and a just I'm gonna try and finish as high as I can and create something good, whether it works out or not. He's definitely not comfortable with the ball in his hands. He's not ever, not ever. Right now, this over the next season, he's not going to become like a really good like point 0.5 shoot, pass, or drive kind of guy. He's definitely not a like very like high level point 0.5 player yet. Hopefully he gets that way, but the drives haven't when he drives, it doesn't result in anything good. Um, so yeah, I am definitely on the low end of optimism for his offense, but I am in the 99th percentile on what he can be defensively. So, and for me, I value shooting above just about everything else in a player. So, the reason why I am probably lower on Rasheer Fleming is because I just don't believe in that jump shot at all right now. And so it's going to be really hard for the Suns this season to play 2 to 3 guys that can't shoot, whether that's Devin Booker, uh, Miles Bridges, uh, Rasheer Fleming, Ryan Dunn, all the centers that they have. None of them can shoot except for maybe Maluach. He still has a long way to go before he's a proven shooter. But no guy on this roster over 6'5" has proven that they can be a good quality NBA shooter, which is a problem. Like, it's good to have a lot of 6'8", 6'9", 7-foot athletic guys, but if none of them can shoot, if none of them can shoot, then it just makes Devin Booker and Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks' job so much harder on offense because all the attention is geared towards them. Teams are able to play super heavy in the gaps against those guys, which results in either wide open missed threes or turnovers from the guys doing most of the offensive initiating. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jordan Knott kind of figures out how to space the floor with a team that doesn't have a whole lot of floor spacers. But anyway, moving on to Kopete, I'm gonna start with the really, really good things that we've seen. He is very comfortable. He's fluid with the ball in his hands. The Suns in that second game had him bringing the ball up a lot, had him kind of initiating plays on offense, even though they weren't running super complicated set plays. But he was the guy and looked very, very good. Not special, but looked very good with the ball in his hands and was a really good passer. Now, he did have a few turnovers in as like the primary playmaker that just kind of happened where it was the over the top pass to Malawach that he should have just never thrown because even if Malawach had caught it, Malawach wouldn't really have been able to do anything with it because he was still too far away from the basket. And he had some other turnovers too where just trying to do too much as well. But overall, he looks incredibly powerful with the basketball. He's able to bulldoze his way into the lane, and then he has a lot of different ways that he can finish around the basket. Off of 1 foot, off of 1 foot, he can do a floater with either off either foot. He's really talented at getting to the rim, getting into bodies and finishing over the top, even though he is a little undersized for a traditional 4 at 6'8". So he's really good at finishing over the top of defenders. Whether it's changing angles, he can finish really well. Um, with touch, which is great. And then he's also really good at getting into the lane and pulling up, whether it's posting up or off of drives. He can turn around and fade. He can post up and fade. The the inner the closer mid range looks that he's been getting look really good. Like it looks very fluid. The further away he gets from the basket, the less fluid his shooting motion looks, and that's really the main negative is that he just can't space the floor at all. Even like the open 15-foot elbow jump shots the teams were giving him, they looked online, but they were flat and they hit the back of the rim and hit really hard. So he's gonna have to continue to tweak his shooting mechanics, which I think if the Suns are planning on playing him a lot of minutes this season, it's gonna be really hard for him to tweak those mechanics. But if they just say, hey, you're not going to play a whole lot. Like Rashir's just going to get all the minutes at the four with Miles Bridges. And then we're just going to play Dylan Brooks and Devin Booker and Luke Kennard and Jordan Goodwin and Colin Gillespie. Like we're just going to play those guys at the guard and wing positions. Then if you're Pete, then you can really get in the lab. You don't have to worry about like kind of transitioning your shooting for him during an NBA season. But if they just give him a whole NBA season to fix his jump shot, then hopefully he can develop into at least like a good like set shot 3-point shooter. That's all the Suns need from him, and that's all he needs to be like a starting level player in the league. In my opinion, is just a guy that can hit standstill open 3-point shots, and then from there just go to work, uh, get to the mid range, get to the lane, finish, set up cutters. He had a good pass to Rasheer Fleming yesterday, who backdoor cut and dunked. He is himself a really good cutter. Unfortunately, the Suns have a lot of really good cutters on this team. They don't have a lot of good shooters. I wish there was a lot more balance at the summer league roster and the NBA roster. I wish there was more balance between tall wings that could shoot and tall wings that could cut, and ideally you just combine them and then you have really high level a really high level wing. But the Suns don't have any of those guys. Miles Bridges is the closest forward that they have that can do all of those things at once. Um, but Pete might be second if he's able to develop a shot for sure. We haven't even seen him shoot a three, and I'm just gonna bet that it probably doesn't look that great. So if I'm Kopi, I am continuing to tweak my form until it looks like a solid NBA jump shot. Uh, Maybe I'll analyze his form from the summer league highlights and from Arizona in a video. If you guys want to see that kind of video, I can definitely make that and analyze his form and what I think he should fix. So leave that in the comments if you want to see something like that. But outside of the shooting, the main thing that was disappointing from Kopi is that before summer league started, he said this isn't something put on him. These weren't expectations I put onto him. He said he wanted to be the best. He said he wanted to be the best offensive rebounder to lead summer league in offensive rebounding, and his motor just has not lived up to that at all. Uh, and it's not just offensive rebounding. He didn't have any offensive rebounds on Sunday. He did have on he did have two offensive rebounds on Friday and finished that game with 7 rebounds, I believe. On Sunday, he only finished with 4, which, as the second or third biggest body on the floor, you have to come up with more than 4 rebounds, especially for the amount of time that he was guarding the Pelicans' big men. But it wasn't just the rebounding; it was the other stuff too. It was on off or when it was going from offense back to defense, he rarely, if ever, sprinted back and matched up with his defender. And that oftentimes led the Suns into They're really small guards guarding guys that Cole Pete should have been guarding. Without any screens being set, it was just Cole Pete was just kind of floating, thought, "Hey, I'll just run back on defense and I'll guard whoever is trailing behind at the top of the key as well." At Arizona, Cole Pete could do that because they had a lot of big guys. They were playing Krivos, they were playing Toby Awaka, and so Pete was just another wing in the rotation. It didn't have to worry too much about sprinting back and matching up with the opposite team's big because the other bigs at Arizona had to do that. But Pete's in a position where, especially in summer league, he has to get up and down the floor so that the Suns don't get any cross matches in transition. He has to do a better job. And when he makes mistakes or misses shots, instead of hanging his head down and just kind of like sulking up the floor, he's got to get up the floor and run. He's got to run. He's got to sprint back in transition defense. It's not college anymore. You have to sprint on the offensive end, which he does incredibly well, right? Like it's not he does a really good job getting out in transition and sprinting in transition on offense, but transitioning back to defense, the effort level just wasn't close to where it needs to be if he wants to play in the NBA. Honestly, at all. It was a red flag that was very concerning defensively. Now, in the flow of defense, he didn't really get picked on. He did get scored on a couple times by Malik Dia, who's a really talented offensive scorer. Maybe not efficient, but definitely is able to hit some difficult shots. Um, but like Pete is able to stay in front of his guy for the most part. He's not a very chaos creating defender. He's not like Rasheer Fleming, where he's going to be blocking a lot of shots, creating a lot of steals, getting a lot of deflections. But he's really good at just staying in front of guys and contesting shots. He has had a few blocks in summer league that have gone as fouls. uh, we'll see if maybe things start to go the other way where he gets called for less of those fouls, but just because fouls are so frequent in summer league because there's 10 of them, you're able to play really aggressive, and officials also know that they can call foul, and it doesn't super matter because the player is not gonna the the teams don't have to deal with fouls. And so Pete's had like two blocks in each game that have been called fouls that I thought looked pretty. I thought there hasn't been a ton of contact, and those might be no calls at the NBA level. But he has also committed seven plus fouls in both games too. Uh, so we'll see with Pete. There's still a lot for him to show over the rest of the summer league and in training camp and in preseason. And ultimately, I think he's a really special talent, but I think he's probably the odd guy that's the odd man out in the rotation. I don't think he gets many rotation minutes this season. And I think they really focus on developing the jump shot, developing a even stronger, more toned body, and they just work on his conditioning or focus or habits, whatever it has to be for him to play with that same kind of motor that Rasheer Fleming plays with. If he can get to that level, he'll play. He'll play this season if he has a Rasheer Fleming kind of motor. But what's going to hold him back from playing this season is if that motor is not where it needs to be for a guy that's going to be playing his role, which is energy, toughness, defense, rebounding. Like you have to have a much better motor for that. So that's the good, the bad, and the oh no with Pete. The really, really bad has been Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has not played well at all in summer league. He scored 2 points in on Sunday. He scored, I think it was just 5 points on. He scored just 5 points Friday night. Uh, he hasn't hit a three. He only shot 31% from three in the G League, and so his shooting ability has not translated over from college to the NBA so far. He has not looked like a lethal 3-point shooter. He's not impacted the games at all in any way positively. He might have been the hero had he hit the game tying shot with under a minute left yesterday on a pull up three, but he's not able to create a ton of separation as a 3-point shooter off the bounce. He hasn't, if we're being honest, he hasn't gotten great looks just because the Suns aren't really the type of team in summer league that's able to collapse the defense and get him a ton of great looks. But the looks he has gotten haven't been anywhere close to going in. The Suns need shooting on the roster, but it doesn't look like as of right now that Kobe Brea is going to provide answers. He's on a two-way contract, but with how poorly he's played in summer league, and if he continues to look this poor in summer league, I don't know if he's going to be on a two-way contract going into the regular season with the Suns. I really don't know because there's probably better guys out there than Brea, or at least better shooters out there than Brea that the Suns could get on a two-way level contract. So Kobe Brea is definitely the guy who needs the biggest turnaround for the Suns summer league going forward. But overall, it's been really positive overall for the Suns Summer League. Each of the three main guys on the roster have lots of flaws, but at least for me, for Pete and for Fleming, and for Pete and for Maluach, the good is far outweighing the bad right now. For Fleming, I think it's a 50-50 split. He's a 100th percentile on defense, and he's not that high on offense. And so yeah, it's been really great to see the Suns still have two more games, one game tonight on Monday and then another game on Wednesday. So should be exciting to see the Suns uh finish out summer league, and I will have all the summer league coverage coming from the AZ Sports Podcast. This week, I'm hoping to put out a lot more social media content. So if you see that, give it a thumbs up or a heart and make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you guys next time on the AZ Sports Podcast and hopefully with a